in plants, herbs, stones, and their true qualities, for naught so vile that on the earth doth live, but to the earth some special good doth give, nor aught so good but strained from that fair use, revolts from true birth, stumbling on abuse. Virtue itself turns vice, being misapplied, and vice sometime by action dignified. Within the infant rind of this weak flower, poison hath residence and medicine power. For this, being smelt, with that part cheers each part, being tasted, stays all senses with the heart. Two such opposed kings encamp them still, in man as well as herbs, grace and rude will, and where the worser is predominant, full soon the canker death eats up that plant.
William Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, Act 2, Scene 3.
And when Jesus had cried out again in a loud voice, he gave up his spirit. At that moment, the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. The earth shook, the rocks split, and the tombs broke open.
Matthew, chapter 27, verses 50 through 52.
I'm not saying it. Well, we're short on time. Now, I've put off all year doing Shakespeare because I know I'm going to have a tendency to, like, Shakespeare is, in my opinion, he is a master of layers. And what he is really a master of is what we're going to talk about this evening is the metaphor. So what is a metaphor? A literary device that, it is used to say something in a succinct way and sometimes an abstract way, but it is a technique of bringing much more depth and understanding just by drawing from the reader, the hearer, the student, from their experience. So you have three parts of the basic metaphor, and that is the tenor, the vehicle, and then the turn. The tenor is the subject that you want to address. So, for an example, that man is a lion. Okay, and the tenor of that metaphor would be that man. This is the subject that we want to address, and then the vehicle would be the lion. So this is, we're using this vehicle, this description of saying that the attributes of something that you have experience with, something that you understand, we're going to attribute certain aspects of that character, of that description, to the tenor, to the subject. All those things being drawn from our experience with this vehicle. So the writer, the speaker, has a common experience or a common expectation of experience of the vehicle, and they're going to take that and put it towards the subject, the tenor. Now, the turn of a metaphor is that deep insightfulness. And Shakespeare is a master of this because you don't know what he's doing when he's doing it. And what you heard at the beginning of this video is probably his most famous play. I don't know if it's his best play. We can all debate that, but probably his most famous play, Romeo and Juliet. And Friar Lawrence, this is our first experience with this really main character besides Romeo and Juliet. He is central to this idea. He is kind of the fulcrum of morality, but then also the failing of morality. He is this shining example. And this is what I'm speaking of. He doesn't know that he is the metaphor that he's giving. Because in this moment, as he's looking at these plants, he's gathering these plants in the garden to make medicine. And he is observing the nature of the plant and comparing it in metaphor to the nature of man. And at this moment, the reader, if it's your first time reading it, and Friar Lawrence himself, it does not know that he is speaking about his future role in all these actions that are going to happen, the good and the bad, the ability to be medicine, but also the ability to be a poison. And this is what Friar Lawrence is the metaphor that he is saying in this moment. He's looking at a plant and saying, inherently in this plant is the ability If it was ground up, it can be a medicine, but administered wrongly or in the wrong dose or in the wrong time, it can certainly be a poison. And now we all know the play. So fast forward to the play. We know that Juliet is fakes her death with one of these poisons. Romeo believes the death and he actually takes a poison. So Friar Lawrence doesn't know what is going to happen. But this metaphor, this soliloquy that he gives about the plant and the nature of man is really the whole play. It's everything in the play that is going to be addressed, condensed down into this metaphor. And this is the genius of Shakespeare. He's saying things in the moment. You just don't know how good they are. And you gotta go back. And I would say it like this. Shakespeare was a master, but he is living in the shadow of Scripture. Scripture itself, the truth itself, Jesus' teachings, the way God interacts and speaks with us is metaphor. And we'll get through this. It has to be. There really is. There's no other vehicle that we can both have shared experience in other than this physical existence that we have. And God speaks to us in the spirit. He is a spirit. But he speaks to us on this plane of existence that we know, this vehicle. Why are metaphors so powerful? We find their origin in Scripture. We find them in our daily communication every day. I think a great example is the metaphor, a child is a sponge. And those few words mean we get all these characteristics of a sponge being able to take in from its environment without regulation. Sponge put in a toxic environment will absorb at the same rate as a sponge put somewhere godly and holy. We know this. A child is a sponge. And if it is not fed into, if a child is ignored, we've all seen that sponge on the back of our sink or under the sink in the kitchen that has not been used. And it shrivels and shrivels and shrivels. This is the power of a metaphor. It's a shared experience that fills in the gaps of what our words are even able to communicate. Scripture used metaphor without exception in every instance that has to do with the Spirit. Some great examples. A man who goes back to sin is a dog returning to his vomit. How powerful. Jesus called the Pharisees whited sepulchres. Beautiful on the outside for presentation, but on the inside full of dead men's bones. We are grafted into the branch of David. These are experience of people of the time to where these metaphors meant something. There was this truth inside of these ideas that spanned beyond the metaphor itself. It spanned beyond a sepulcher or a dog or dead men's bones. There's these spiritual elements that God finds a way of communicating to us through this vehicle of our existence. You are the salt of the earth. We are the bride of Christ. God is a lion. He is a lamb. He is a king. He is a shepherd. He is a light. He is the way. He is the truth. He's a judge. He's a warrior. He's a lily. He is water. He is air. He is fire. All these attributes of our existence, the vehicle of experience that God has put us into creation. He says, look at these things around you to know me. And so the question I ask you is metaphors about existence, or is it existence itself the metaphor? I know where I fall on this. I know what I believe because I know there are instances in Scripture that go beyond a literary device. And you heard it at the beginning of this video. Jesus on the cross gives out his last cry. And at that moment, the veil is split. This is not a literary device. This is an actual veil. This is something in existence. This is something tangible and material. It splits. And this veil, as you probably know, is what exemplified the separation that sin had created between man and God. On one side of the veil was what represented God's presence and the ark and the covenant and his promises and manna, his provisions, his law. And there was a veil. It was a separation. It was a partition. It was a divider. And that physical thing of existence split when Jesus died, when Jesus gave himself over. And this is what pulls me to the side of the argument that life is the actual metaphor. What we are experiencing, everything that we see, do, marriage. There'll be no giving of marriage in heaven. Well, why not? Because it is just a metaphor. Raising children. We won't be raising children when we are spirit-wide because it is a metaphor. Growing old, growing weak, growing strong, growing weary. And I know I'm getting weird here. So let me get a little weirder at the very end. There's been moments in my life, a few moments. And I'm curious if anyone else has experienced. There's been few moments in my life where I just get close enough to God to where the whole world, just for a moment, feels very alien to me. Even, houses and cars and all these things, they seem so far away. I feel removed from even my own body. It feels alien to me. Just for a moment, I can glimpse the Spirit. I'm ashamed to say, if I could give you a metaphor for that feeling, it's the soul within me that I can only use metaphor to describe this thing, this soul, this what I actually am. It's as if it came to the bars of existence and realized it had the strength to bend them. And it was petrified by that. And that is the feeling that I felt. I've gotten close a few moments to really feeling apart from this world. And seeing maybe things are just a little bit clearer to what they are. And I've shrunken from the experience because there's comfort maybe in the captivity of reality and our physical limitations. But I think that the disciples maybe encountered this feeling often. Seeing Jesus, who is this embodiment of what I'm speaking of, metaphor, 100% God. And 100% man walking, and this embodiment of this idea of these two worlds, and they're watching, and there has to be moments where it's just transcendent. It's above what they get to say. All this is around us is just to show us something, just so that we could know him. It's just a lesson. It makes it hard to worry about stuff. It makes it hard for me to stress out about things like money and health and even things that we ascribe so much weight to, the future and life and what's going to happen. I'm going into this new year with high hopes. Not that I'm going to be anything great or anything great is going to happen. I just really believe there is something greater, something deeper, something better in our lives. Even through this small program that we do, there is truth available to us if we are willing to listen, willing to observe. And that's my challenge to you coming into this year. Take a moment this week. Be willing. Look around. Just imagine that you are forever. You are eternal. You are a spiritual being. So what's the point of all this? I think it's to know him and to know each other and to love each other. We could talk. I could go another 30 minutes. I love you. I'll see you Sunday. I might see you in 2026. Bring it on Monday.